And then her entire world stopped. Tasha felt like the air had been knocked out of her lungs. No, it couldn't be. Brian's father was her ex-sugar daddy. Mr. Desmond's eyes widened in shock before his expression hardened. His steps were slow and controlled as he descended the stairs, his gaze locked onto Tasha. She gripped the edge of the couch, her heart racing. Brian, oblivious to the tension in the room, grinned. Dad, this is Tasha, the love of my life, the woman I'm going to marry." The room fell silent. Tasha stood in front of the mirror, adjusting her dress for the third time. The fabric clung to her body, highlighting her curves. She pouted her lips and turned from side to side, admiring her reflection. Alex's voice interrupted her thoughts. "Tasha, are you ready?" She sighed, rolling her eyes before grabbing her handbag. "Yes, I'm coming." Alex had invited her out for lunch at a small restaurant near their university. It wasn't anything fancy, just a simple place where they could spend time together. But deep down, Tasha was unimpressed. She had seen her friends go to expensive places, receiving lavish gifts from men who weren't their age mates. And here she was, stuck with Alex, who could only afford to buy her small things like chocolates and flowers. As they walked into the restaurant, Alex pulled out a chair for her. "I hope you'll like their food. I heard their jollof rice is really nice." Tasha forced a smile. "Let's see." Throughout the meal, Alex kept talking about their future, about how he wanted to work hard and make life comfortable for both of them. But Tasha wasn't listening. Her mind was elsewhere, thinking about how slow things were with him. She wanted the good life now, not in the distant future. Later that evening, she met up with her friends Bella and Cynthia in their hostel. "Tasha, you're wasting your beauty on Alex," Bella said, shaking her head. "Look at the way you dress, always looking like a goddess, and for what? A boyfriend who can barely afford a decent date." Cynthia smirked. "You need a man who will treat you like a queen, not this your school boyfriend who is still struggling." Tasha sighed. "What do you want me to do? Alex loves me." Bella rolled her eyes. "Love won't pay your bills, my dear. Do you know how much I made just last week?" Tasha's ears perked up. "How much?" Cynthia grinned. "More than what Alex will ever give you in a year." Tasha leaned in, intrigued. "Tell me more." Bella glanced around before lowering her voice. "There's this man, a big man. He likes young, beautiful girls, and he's very generous." Cynthia nodded. "He takes care of all my expenses. Even bought me an iPhone last month." Tasha's eyes widened. "For real?" Bella smiled. "You see this bag?" She lifted her designer handbag. "He bought it for me, and he didn't even think twice." Tasha bit her lip. "How does it work?" Bella and Cynthia exchanged knowing looks. Then Bella leaned closer. "You just need to meet him. Look beautiful, act nice, and let him take care of you." Tasha hesitated. She thought about Alex, about how he always tried his best, even with the little he had. But then she also thought about the life she wanted, the luxury, the expensive things, the soft life her friends were enjoying. The next day, Bella took her to meet the man. His name was Mr. Desmond, a wealthy businessman in his late 40s. He had a potbelly and a gold wristwatch that glimmered under the lights of the fancy restaurant they met in. As soon as he saw Tasha, his eyes lit up. "Beautiful girl," he said, smiling. "Bella, didn't tell me you were this stunning." Tasha blushed, feeling an unfamiliar excitement. Mr. Desmond wasted no time in ordering food and drinks, things she had only seen on social media. Unlike Alex, who would calculate every kobo he spent, Mr. Desmond ordered without checking the prices. "Tasha, tell me about yourself," he said, pouring her a drink. Tasha smiled, feeling like she was in another world. She didn't even notice Bella slipping away, leaving her alone with him. That evening, she returned to her hostel with a brand new iPhone and 50,000 naira in cash. As she lay on her bed, staring at her new phone, she felt a strange mixture of excitement and guilt. She thought about Alex, about how he had struggled to buy her a small perfume on her birthday. Yet, here she was, receiving expensive gifts from a man she barely knew. A message popped up on her new phone. It was from Mr. Desmond. "Hope you got home safe, beautiful. I enjoyed our time together. Let's see again soon." Tasha smiled and replied, "Of course, I'd love that." From that day, everything changed. She began sneaking out, making excuses to avoid spending time with Alex. Whenever he called, she would say she was busy with schoolwork. Meanwhile, she was meeting Mr. Desmond in fancy hotels, receiving expensive gifts, and enjoying the luxury she had always dreamed of. Alex started noticing the change. "Tasha, you don't pick my calls like before," he said one evening when they met at school. "You don't even have time for me." Tasha rolled her eyes. "Alex, I've been busy. School is stressing me." "But you always have time for your friends," he said, his eyes filled with concern. Tasha sighed. "Please, I don't have time for this. I have a lot on my mind." She turned and walked away, leaving Alex standing there, confused and hurt. That weekend, she travelled with Mr. Desmond to Abuja. It was her first time on a plane, and she couldn't stop taking pictures. She posted them on social media, making sure to leave a mysterious caption. "Living my best life." Her friends were in awe. They flooded her comments with fire emojis, asking who was sponsoring her lifestyle, but she never responded. Meanwhile, Alex saw her posts and felt a deep pain in his chest. He didn't know where she was or who she was with, but he knew something had changed. That night, he sent her a message. "Tasha, please talk to me. If there's something wrong, let me know." She read the message but didn't reply. Instead, she turned off her phone and snuggled closer to Mr. Desmond, who was fast asleep beside her in the luxurious hotel suite. She had finally entered the life she wanted. The first time Alex noticed something was off, it was because of the perfume. Tasha had never been one to use expensive fragrances. She mostly wore the ones he bought for her, simple body mists that smelled sweet and mild. But one evening, as they sat outside her hostel, he caught a different scent on her. A strong, expensive perfume that lingered in the air. "Babe, you smell different today," Alex said, his eyes narrowing slightly. Tasha quickly forced a smile. "Oh, Bella gave me her perfume to try." Alex nodded slowly, but something about her tone felt off. He brushed it aside. Maybe he was overthinking, but soon the signs became too obvious to ignore. Tasha, who used to complain about not having enough money, suddenly had new clothes, new shoes, and a brand new phone that was way out of their student budget. She started eating at expensive restaurants, places she once told Alex she could only dream of going to. One afternoon, as they walked out of class together, Alex held her hand. "Tasha, I need to ask you something." She sighed. "What is it?" He hesitated, then said, "Where are you getting all these expensive things from?" Tasha's heart skipped a beat, but she quickly masked her emotions. She let out a short laugh. "Alex, why are you acting like I can't have nice things?" "I didn't say that, but..." He glanced at her designer handbag. "Last week, you said you were broke, and now you have all these new things. I just want to understand." Tasha rolled her eyes. "So I can't have rich friends. Bella and Cynthia have been helping me." Alex exhaled. He wanted to believe her, but something in his gut told him there was more to the story. Days passed, and Tasha became even more distant. She barely answered his calls, and when she did, she sounded distracted. Whenever he asked to see her, she had an excuse. Assignments, group discussions, a headache. But one evening, everything became clear. Alex was walking to Tasha's hostel when he spotted her across the street, standing beside a sleek black SUV. She was laughing, her hands playfully touching the arm of a man inside the car. The man handed her a shopping bag, and she giggled, blowing him a kiss before stepping back. Alex's heart pounded. He stood frozen, watching as Tasha adjusted her dress and walked towards her hostel, completely unaware that he had seen everything. The moment she entered her room, his call came in. Tasha hesitated before answering. "Where are you?" Alex's voice was sharp. "I'm in my room." "Lydia, London." "Liar," he snapped. "I just saw you outside. Who was that man?" Tasha's stomach twisted. She knew she had been caught, but instead of panicking, she decided to play it smart. She let out an annoyed sigh. "Alex, are you stalking me now? I can't talk to people again?" "Don't turn this on me," he said, his voice filled with pain. "I saw you. I saw him give you gifts. Tasha, what's going on?" She rolled her eyes, even though he couldn't see her. "Alex, please, not today. I'm not in the mood for your drama." "Rana?" His voice cracked. "Tasha, are you cheating on me?" She stayed silent for a moment, then smirked. "Believe whatever you want." That night, Alex barely slept. He kept thinking about the girl he had loved, the one he had sacrificed so much for. How had she changed so much? The next day, he went to her hostel. He had made up his mind. He was going to confront her face to face. When Tasha opened the door and saw him, she folded her arms. "What now?" Alex stepped inside, his eyes scanning the room. He immediately noticed the expensive jewelry on her table, a new designer purse hanging on her chair, and a pair of high heels that she never could have afforded on her own. He swallowed hard. "So it's true." Tasha sighed dramatically. "Alex, I'm tired of this. If you don't trust me, why are you still here?" Alex clenched his fists. "Because I love you, Tasha. And I know this isn't who you really are." She let out a short laugh. "Oh, Alex, you're so naive." His chest tightened. "So, all this time you've been lying to me, going behind my back? Is it because of money?" Tasha gave him a cold stare. "You can't take care of me, Alex. Let's be honest. I deserve more." His eyes burned. "I may not have money now, but at least I have dignity." She scoffed. "Dignity doesn't pay for flights, nice clothes, or fine dining." Alex took a deep breath, trying to control his emotions. "So, this is it. You'd rather be with a married man who only sees you as a plaything?" Tasha smirked. "At least he gives me what I want." Alex looked at her, really looked at her, and for the first time he realized that the girl he had fallen in love with was gone. Still, he wasn't ready to give up. "Tasha, please, you don't have to do this. Let's fix things." She crossed her arms. "Fix what? I've moved on, Alex. Maybe you should too." Despite the humiliation, Alex kept trying. He sent her messages, called her, even waited outside her hostel just to talk to her. Tasha, on the other hand, felt powerful. She flaunted her new lifestyle in his face, making sure he saw the expensive things she now had. Whenever she passed by him on campus, she made sure to wear her best outfits, her most expensive perfume, just to remind him of what he couldn't afford. One evening, Alex saw her stepping out of an expensive car. The driver's window rolled down, and he recognized the face immediately, Mr. Desmond. Alex's heart sank. Tasha walked past him, smiling sweetly. "Oh, hey Alex," she said casually. "How's life?" He stared at her, speechless. She laughed and walked away, swinging her handbag as if nothing had ever happened between them. Alex clenched his jaw. He had never felt so hurt in his life. That night, he sent her one last message. "Tasha, I love you, but I can't keep doing this. If you ever find your way back, I'll be here." Tasha read the message and smirked. She had no intention of looking back. And so, their love story came to an end. Tasha adjusted her dress and admired herself in the mirror. She looked stunning, as always. Her makeup was flawless, her nails freshly done, and her jewelry sparkled under the warm glow of her bedroom light. Life had been good to her. After breaking up with Alex, she had moved on quickly. She barely felt any guilt. To her, Alex was just a chapter of her past that no longer mattered. She had leveled up, left behind the struggles of dating a broke student, and embraced the luxury she always craved. But Mr. Desmond, her sugar daddy, had started getting too controlling. At first, he showered her with expensive gifts, phones, designer bags, and money to take care of herself. But soon he began making demands. "Why didn't you answer my call last night?" he asked one evening as they sat in a private lounge. Tasha sipped her cocktail and rolled her eyes. I was busy. Desmond's face hardened. Busy with what? I told you, when I call, you answer. She forced a smile. Come on, baby, don't be like that. You know I appreciate everything you do for me. But deep inside, she was getting tired. The excitement of having a sugar daddy was fading. He was possessive, always monitoring her and even dictating what she should wear. Then she met Brian. Brian was different. He was wealthy but young, handsome and full of life. Unlike Mr. Desmond, who was old and controlling, Brian treated her like a queen. He took her on luxurious vacations, spoiled her with surprises, and most importantly, he loved her in a way she had never experienced before. At first, she wasn't sure about him. She had been used to transactional relationships, where money and gifts came first. But Brian was patient. He didn't just buy her things, he made her feel special. He listened to her, cared for her, and treated her like she was the most important woman in his life. Slowly, she started changing. One evening, as they sat by the beach during one of their trips, Brian held her hand and looked into her eyes. Tasha, do you love me? She hesitated for a moment. Love? She had never really thought about love. But when she looked at Brian, she realized that for the first time, she felt something real. Yes, she whispered, I love you. That night, she made a decision. She was done with her sugar daddy lifestyle. She wanted something real. The next day, she called Mr. Desmond. We need to talk, she said, her voice firm. When they met, she didn't waste time. Desmond, I can't do this anymore. He frowned. What are you talking about? I'm done, she said. I don't want this kind of life anymore. Desmond laughed bitterly. So, after everything I've done for you, you think you can just walk away? Tasha sighed. I appreciate everything, but I've found someone else. I want something real. His face darkened. You're making a big mistake. Maybe. But it's my mistake to make. And with that, she walked away from the life she once craved. For the next 2 years, she focused on her relationship with Brian. It was everything she had ever wanted. Romantic dates, surprise gifts, vacations, and most importantly, love. Brian was kind, patient, and generous, and he never judged her past. With him, she felt safe. Then, one evening while they were having dinner at a rooftop restaurant, Brian got down on one knee. Tasha, he said, holding a small velvet box. These past 2 years have been the best of my life. I love you, and I want to spend forever with you. Will you marry me? Tasha gasped, tears filling her eyes. Yes, she cried, throwing her arms around him. The restaurant erupted in cheers as Brian slid the ring onto her finger. She had finally found her happy ending. A few days later, Brian said, It's time for you to meet my family. Tasha smiled. I can't wait. She had no idea that her past was about to catch up with her in the worst way possible. Tasha could barely contain her excitement as Brian drove her to his family's home. She had dreamt of this moment, meeting his parents, stepping into the next phase of their relationship. She had imagined them welcoming her with warm smiles, already thinking of wedding plans and treating her like a daughter. You'll love my family, Brian said, squeezing her hand. They're amazing people. My dad is strict, but he has a good heart. My mum is sweet. And my younger sister? She's dying to meet you. Tasha smiled, her heart swelling with happiness. After everything she had been through, she had finally found something real. As they pulled into the driveway of a large, luxurious house, she took a deep breath. This was it. Brian led her inside, where his mother and sister welcomed her warmly. They hugged her, complimented her beauty, and made her feel at home. She exhaled in relief. So far, everything was going well. Then Brian turned to her. Let me go and call my dad. He's upstairs. Tasha nodded, sitting comfortably in the living room as she chatted with his mother. A few minutes later, she heard Brian's voice. Dad, come and meet my fiancé. She turned around with a bright smile. And then her entire world stopped. Mr. Desmond stood at the top of the stairs, his face turning pale. Tasha felt like the air had been knocked out of her lungs. No, it couldn't be. Brian's father was her ex-sugar daddy. Mr. Desmond's eyes widened in shock before his expression hardened. His steps were slow and controlled as he descended the stairs, his gaze locked onto Tasha. She gripped the edge of the couch, her heart racing. Brian, oblivious to the tension in the room, grinned. Dad, this is Tasha, the love of my life, the woman I'm going to marry." The room fell silent. Desmond clenched his jaw. He turned to Brian, his voice dangerously calm. "Can I speak to you? Alone?" Brian frowned. "Dad? What's wrong?" "No." Brian hesitated but nodded. Okay." He turned to Tasha and smiled. "I'll be right back, babe." Tasha could barely nod. As soon as they stepped into the study, Desmond slammed the door shut and turned to his son. "Rake it off?" Brian blinked in confusion. "What?" Desmond's voice was sharp. "Break up with her." Brian frowned. "Dad, what are you talking about?" Desmond took a deep breath, pinching the bridge of his nose. "That girl, Tasha, she's not who you think she is." Brian crossed his arms. "What's that supposed to mean?" Desmond hesitated for a moment, then said, "Know her. We had a past." Brian's stomach tightened. "What kind of past?" Desmond's voice was cold. "She was my mistress." Brian's breath caught in his throat. He let out a shaky laugh, shaking his head. No, that's not possible." Desmond's expression remained serious. "It's true. I met her years ago. She was young, desperate for luxury, and I gave it to her. In exchange," he sighed, "we had a relationship." Brian's legs felt weak. His father, his own father, had been with the woman he planned to marry? "Son, you have to end it," Desmond said firmly. "I will not allow this marriage to happen." Brian's heart pounded in his chest. He wanted to scream, to deny everything. But deep inside, a terrible feeling settled in his stomach. Without another word, he turned and walked out of the study. Tasha stood as soon as she saw him. "Brian? What's going on?" He looked at her, his expression unreadable. "Is it true?" Tasha's throat went dry. "Brian, His voice rose. "Is it true, Tasha? Did you have an affair with my father?" Tears welled in her eyes. "Brian, that was before I met you. I swear, I didn't know he was your father." Brian let out a bitter laugh. "Oh, so that makes it okay?" "Please," she begged. "I've changed. That's not who I am anymore." Desmond stepped forward. "It doesn't matter. This wedding will not happen." Tasha turned to him, her eyes pleading. "Please, sir. I love your son. I've left that life behind. I was foolish, but I've changed." Desmond's face remained cold. "You will never be my son's wife." Brian clenched his fists, torn between the love he felt for Tasha and the betrayal he couldn't ignore. "Brian," Tasha whispered, reaching for his hand. But he stepped back. "I can't do this, Tasha," he said, his voice breaking. "I can't marry you," Tasha gasped, shaking her head. "No, Brian, please." His eyes were filled with pain. "I loved you. I trusted you. But this, I can't." Tasha dropped to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "Please don't do this to me. Please." Desmond's voice was final. "It's over, Tasha. Leave." Brian turned away, his chest heavy with heartbreak. Tasha sat there, crying as her world crumbled. She had lost him. For days, she stayed locked in her apartment, refusing to eat or step outside. The regret was unbearable. She had finally found real love, and now, because of her past, she had lost it all. One evening, as she lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, her phone buzzed. She reached for it, hoping it was Brian. But it wasn't. Her fingers trembled as she scrolled through her contacts. And then she saw it. Alex. Her hands shook as she dialed his number. The phone rang. And rang. Then, finally, "Well," she held her breath, her voice barely above a whisper. "Alec, it's me." Silence. Then, his voice calm but distant. Tasha. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Can we talk?